Johnson was doing to where we are today with an incredible, very diverse jazz scene in Sarasota, in Tampa, in St. Petersburg. We actually make money doing jazz here. I mean, jazz is good, baby, and it's healthy. And we owe a lot to this guy, and we're so happy to be able to celebrate him, and we're not going to let him get away. We have a custodial position open, Bob, and you get to see all the shows for free. And I just want, and there's a little trash to be carried out, but other than that, it's good. My good friend Joanne Urofsky, who runs everything good at WSF, is going. I don't even know your title. You're like the boss. Joanne, thanks for coming.
And Paul, thanks for having us. And thanks so much for inviting your audience to celebrate Bob's retirement. This is not easy for any of us, let me tell you. Bob and I have worked together for more than 2 decades. So let me just take you back. 1981, Reagan gets elected. Raiders of the Lost Ark comes into the movie theaters, and Bob Seymour starts doing jazz at WUSF, right? And over the years, because he was so good at it, we keep adding more and more hours of jazz. And of course, Bob's holding down the fort. Now, I have to tell you something about Bob, and that is, if you're a WUSF 89.7 listener, you have heard him do Morning Edition hosting, All Things Considered hosting, classical music announcing, and jazz. He is our only utility player. Yeah, he does that really well. And we're definitely going to miss him there in a couple of weeks when we're back on the air with our membership campaign. And I think it coincides with his actual final day at the station. So we'll get him for one of those days. But it has been such a pleasure to work with somebody who cares so much about the music, who knows everybody there is to know in the jazz world. And I'm not talking about our jazz world here. I'm talking about the jazz world. And took himself to conferences when WUSF couldn't afford to send him. That's commitment. So I know that even though Bob will be leaving our airwaves and retiring, he's not going to retire from the jazz scene. And you will still see him, like you will tonight, at the Side Door Jazz Jam. And you will still see him all around town. He's not going to stop any of that. And that's the great part for all of us. So keep turning out for all these great jazz events, and let's celebrate Bob Seymour's time at WUSF.
The job was described as jazz/news/production. And I had because we ran 2 hours of jazz a night. You know, for this, you hire a jazz director. And a friend at an NPR station in Bowling Green, who I'd worked with down here, Sam Litzinger, who you may have known over the years, called me and said, "This sounds like the right job for you." I was working in Sarasota with my old pals who were from those days who are here from Sarasota today. But so 35 years ago this week, I made the move to Tampa, and the jazz, thanks to the management of WUSF, have been so supportive of what we do, and to all the people who've been part of it, especially to you for joining us in the audio radiance and making it possible to expand it to what's now 60 hours a week. On the radio, jazz on the radio. That thing was going to be killed off by television and then killed off by the cassette format. Remember that? Radio wasn't going to survive that, or the internet. And it's thriving, and it really is a dream come true to be part of doing jazz on the radio for all that time, and to have your friendship and support through it. Our thanks to the music community in our area, and really the jazz community everywhere. They make our job pretty easy. You know, you play a Miles Davis record and a Sarah Vaughan record, you tell people where La Lucha's going to be playing, or who's playing at the Palladium, and it's pretty easy to sound good when you surround yourself with the kind of music that we all love. And thanks to the whole artistic community, to all of my colleagues at WUSF, many of whom are here today, which I really appreciate. And I've been going through my office and finding playlists from 1982, and there are so many people who have come through the late night studio over the years, announcers who have who have lost sleep and put in time, and many of them are here today or have sent well wishes, but there are so many people who have contributed to it. Thanks to Mike Cornett, who is doing so many of our hours now, who also helped arrange our after party. And I hope you will stay for the get together in the side door downstairs, put together by the Tampa Jazz Club. I used to live in Sarasota in the 70s and listen to Mike at night and a few other old friends doing jazz on the radio then. He's lived elsewhere, but we're so happy he's back in the loop with us now. The Tampa Jazz Club, the Al Downing Jazz Association, and I know friends here today from the Jazz Club of Sarasota too, and they've all been so supportive and in keeping this community thriving. Thanks so much to my wife. Marion has been part of 34 of those 35 years, I guess, and a remarkable anchor to everything I do, to living crazy hours and living with my crazy hours, going along with most of our vacations being to jazz conferences or jazz festivals, and we'll have a few more vacations in store now. And I don't know what I'm forgetting. Thanks to you. It's been a great ride, and I'll see you out at the Palladium and everywhere where this music is happening. And thanks, Paul.
My pleasure. Bob Seymour. And we actually have a show. Just want to run you down. We're going to, yes, keep it up. This is good. We've got a great show coming up for you, as you know, because you bought tickets for it. And then when this show breaks, there'll be 2 sets with an intermission, and there's some CDs on sale. And then you're welcome to join us downstairs for a jazz jam starting around 7 till 10. Flipper's Pizza, our neighbors and supporters, are going to be selling some food. So if you're starving, there'll be some food. The bars will be open, so please make a night of it. And there'll be a little more. Mike's going to get up here at intermission, and I'm going to introduce this show. So thank you guys very much. We also want to recognize
here, and we said hello at the beginning of this concert at 4 o'clock, and so many of my colleagues from WUSF are here. I want to thank you and for bringing the kids and hanging out down here in the side door. It has been a remarkable place to work and with a great group of people. Thanks to Paul and all the staff at the Palladium for making this happen. And I think I'll be hanging out more at the Palladium with more free time on my hands. This has been so remarkable. I think I'll do it more often. I'll make it like a Who farewell tour and just do it every year or so. I know, and I've known for a long time, that the people who make this music and the people who love this music are just the greatest people in the world. But if I didn't know that before, after meeting so many of you throughout this afternoon, and I sure have had it reinforced. It's been a remarkable, just a lot of conversations and reminiscences about our lives together in this music. Thanks for listening. We say that sometimes, but boy, do we mean it. And all the colleagues I've had, present and through the years at WUSF, we really don't take it for granted that you spend time with us and support what we do. When I started, as I mentioned earlier, it was 1981. It was 35 years ago this week that I started driving to Fowler Avenue, and it was 2 hours of jazz a night. We signed the state. We started at midnight. We signed it off at 2 in the morning. So it's you who've made it possible for us to expand to what is now 60 hours every week, 60 hours a week, and I'm very proud of the spirit of the station making that commitment. So it's thanks to you and to the people who make this music, like all the musicians who are going to come up, old pals Michael Royal and Alejandro Arenas and Mark Feynman are going to get the party started. I'm going to see a lot of horn faces here, and it's going to be some great music. Thanks so much once again. It really means a lot.